Welcome to another episode of True Crime 757. I'm John Sham. I'm joined today by our investigative reporter, Margaret Kavanaugh. We're back here again to talk about the case of David Varela. He is accused in the murder of his wife, Lina Guerra, sometime late January or early February. We've reported on this story for months. We believe our reporting was somewhat influential in his eventual capture and his extradition back to the U.S. So he's been back in the U.S. for over a month now. So we wanted to give you a little update about what's been happening in this case. We had something big that happened. We're recording this on June 4th. What happened today in Norfolk Court?
Today he had a bond hearing. So he went in there with his attorney requesting that he get bond, which a lot of people were kind of shocked to hear that he would.
I also was a little bit shocked. I was just wondering, obviously bond is to consider whether somebody should be allowed out of jail while they await their trial. It's not always granted, but is it always asked for?
He requested, his attorney made the argument. We found out some really interesting information in court today. The attorney said that he has no criminal record. He argued that he would like to go stay with his mother, who lives in Castleberry, Florida, while he awaits being tried. He also said that he maintains his innocence, and he said it twice. He said it in the beginning of his argument, and then he said it again, saying that Varela is maintaining his innocence regarding the murder charge and concealment of a body charges that he is currently facing for what authorities say he did to his wife.
And that's a first-degree murder charge and the secondary charge of concealment of a body. So you reached out to his mother. We found her we have ways of connecting with people through their relatives using information that we get of them. And we can find sometimes their phone numbers, addresses, things like that. You called her up on the phone. What did she say?
She said yes. When I asked her name, I said I was calling about David Varela. I identified who I was. I said, we are reaching out to see if you have any comment or input into the stories that we're running about the accusations against him. And she very quickly got off the phone and didn't have any comment or didn't want to say anything about the situation. But we have learned that that is where he would like to go. He's not going to. The judge said no, but that is what the effort was today.
So he has appeared in court. This was his third court appearance in Norfolk since he's been back. What were the previous two hearings about?
Yeah, the first one was an arraignment, very brief, very quick. It was on video. I was in the courtroom for all three of these. So first he had the arraignment. Then that was just, the initial getting him in. He's here, in front of the judge.
Right.
Then he had a hearing to determine whether or not he is competent. His attorney would like to have a doctor evaluate him, and specifically said in court, the judge reiterating what the attorney said to the attorney, so you're concerned about your client's ability to comprehend his circumstances, and the lawyer said yes. So the judge granted him the ability to be evaluated by a doctor, which is going to happen in the Norfolk jail, which is where he's currently being held, and that will happen before his next hearing in July.
And so what's the July hearing?
That will be a preliminary hearing. So that is probably a little bit longer, where we get a little bit more about the case. It just depends on how it all unfolds. But that would be the next step in what goes on in the legal process.
And so one of the important things that we wanted to share today is that not just that he had a bond hearing and was not granted bond. I don't think that was probably not a surprise to people. Obviously, the accusations that he's facing, coupled with the fact that he left the country and flew across the world, seemingly to avoid being held accountable for these alleged crimes. But what happened today in court was the prosecutors outlined more evidence against him for why they think that he shouldn't get bond. And some of these details are a little bit disturbing, so we actually chose not to put them on television when you were reporting this on the air today, but we thought this podcast would be a more appropriate place to share some of that. We do think it's important for people to know what the allegations are in this crime, especially people who've been paying attention to this case for a while like we have. So what did we learn today in court?
It was disturbing. The prosecutor outlined that Lina's body was found in the freezer and it was frozen solid, and that there had been saran wrap wrapped around her face 7 times. And the prosecutor said that they believe that when she was put in the freezer, it was likely that she was alive at that time. Now, the U.S. Marshal said in a previous press release that he is accused of beating and strangling her. The allegation that she could potentially have been alive and put in the freezer was very very disturbing to hear and shocking because that was new information that we heard.
Did they have any context to why they think that was possible, right? Like how would they know? I remember in our earlier reporting, they said that, that she had been in the freezer for so long that it took them a few days for her to be thawed out so that they could do the autopsy. How would they know whether she was alive when she was put in the freezer?
That's part of what they looked at with the medical examiner and we know that it took a few days. The prosecutor specifically said today that she was frozen solid. So there are tests that they do. They look into what time she died. This is the whole timeline of when this happened, how it happened. There's a big window. The marshal said that they believe that she was murdered sometime between January 15th, which is around the time that her family stopped hearing from her, and February 4th, which is the time that her family reported her missing. Her brother called, who lives in Miami. Most of the family's in Colombia. The brother lives in Miami. He called up because they were all worried, and that's when all this started. They also said in court today that once the Norfolk police got that call, they went to the house. They left a card on the apartment door. They heard dogs barking. They left, came back, and saw that that card had been taken off the door, but they still heard those dogs barking, her 3 dogs inside of the apartment. That's when they really started looking at things. They said today they talked to security that was in the apartment complex, and the security people said that both of their access cards had been being used in recent weeks to get in and out of the complex. They also then said that's when they soon after that determined and saw that he had gotten on a flight to go to Hong Kong.
So did they know what date the police went to the apartment to do the wellness check when they left the car? Did they say what date?
I believe it was the 4th.
Okay.
And then it was the 5th that the body was discovered.
And that we believe was the same day that he got on the plane.
Yes.
Okay.
Around that time.
Right.
Yes.
So you've reported on the dogs a few times, and I know you've spoken with Lina's family. Lina's family has been wondering where the dogs are. Do we know anything about? We heard police said that they heard dogs barking in the apartment when they did the welfare check. Where are the dogs now?
They said in court today he drove up to New York and caught a flight to Hong Kong from New York, and it is believed that he took the dogs and brought them up and left them with people in New York that they know.
Your world changed in seconds, not by choice. But now, you get to choose who fights for you. At Corseland Law, we don't just handle cases like the other firms. We go to war to get our clients paid for their injuries. Personal injury, real people, real stakes. Let us carry the weight. Free consultation, fierce representation. Corseland Law, because this fight is personal.
We learned some new details today as well about how Varela was captured. So just a quick recap of what happened. In April, we were contacted by 2 women in Russia who said that they met David in Hong Kong. And after communicating with them a little bit, they gave us contact information for Varela. You called Varela on the phone on a video call. He answered, and we hadn't really known up to this point what transpired, but the next thing that we heard after we ran that story was that he was captured and that he was being extradited back to the U.S. But there were some new details today. So can you shed some light about that capture?
Yeah, in court, that the prosecutor was outlining their side of everything and said that he was arrested on his way trying to fly from Hong Kong to Russia. They also said that they believe that his ultimate goal was to get to Russia to avoid extradition. There were extradition issues in Hong Kong that, for whatever reason, from the higher ups, they decided to. All these people.
Something happened, and
he's back here now. Everybody that we had interviewed, all the experts and people that we talked to, said that there's no way he's going to be extradited back to Hong Kong, but he has been. So that's interesting. But they said today they believe his ultimate goal was to get to Russia to avoid extradition.
Right.
And we, with meeting up with the Russian woman that he was trying to date, perhaps, that's what his thought process was. But obviously that's something we don't know what's going through his mind.
Right. By the time he had at least attempted to hop on that flight, the Russian women were very aware because they had Googled him and they had seen what the allegations were, and they had been communicating with both of us that he was a wanted person and that he was trying to avoid potentially being brought back to the U.S. So Russia also does not have an extradition agreement with the U.S. So obviously that could have been a safe place for him. So it kind of makes sense. Anything else that we picked up from the court hearing?
It was, I just think it's also interesting. They saw our article online, and WTKR always tries to follow through on stories. And when we did that story, there was I interviewed the family again. They were frustrated, no answers. And it's just interesting how like a story that we did following through like that just led to so much more with what we've learned and what's unveiled and came about. But in court, I mean, at the end, the judge said that Varela is not a candidate for bond. She said he is a flight risk and a danger to the community. And then she said, no bond. So he'll go back to the Norfolk courthouse. He'll meet up with this doctor if they haven't already done that and do the evaluation. And then the preliminary hearing is scheduled for July 21st.
Was there anything else that we picked up in court today from what prosecutors said?
What was interesting about that, one of the first pictures we got was of him and her from her family, and she's wearing what appears to be an orange jumpsuit. The prosecutor outlined that whole situation and brought that up, saying that when her family started inquiring, where is she? Her birthday was coming up, they said, at the end of January, so they were trying to get a birthday present sent to her, figure out what she needed. And the family, he sent that photo and said that she had been arrested. That's what the family told me. Today in court, we learned that he told the family that ICE had picked her up and that she had been arrested and that she was, wearing this jumpsuit. They say that they found that photo in his phone. The prosecutor said that they believe that he had altered that photo to make it look like she was in that jumpsuit, which is what we have, been reporting. But it was interesting hearing the prosecutors outline all that and then bringing ICE into it.
We know you're going to be paying close attention to any developments in this case, and we thank you for joining us for another episode of True